Welcome back to our channel, Demolition Worker. Today we are tackling the incredible MSC World Europa and its futuristic bow. This vessel features a highly advanced design with a unique, inverted V-shaped bow that defies traditional marine engineering standards. Standing right beneath this towering steel giant makes you realize just how massive and intimidating this demolition project truly is. The structural integrity of this specific section is incredibly rigid, making it extremely difficult to approach with our standard excavators. Our usual heavy machinery and standard excavators are simply too small and ineffective against this highly reinforced solid steel wall. We had to completely rethink our approach and develop a specialized strategy to safely break down this futuristic floating fortress. The only viable solution was to deploy suspended scaffolding directly onto the hull, allowing our crew to work up close. Heavy-duty steel cables must be perfectly secured to ensure the suspended platforms remain completely stable against the strong winds. Our elite team of manual cutters prepares their specialized gear, knowing this task requires absolute precision and immense physical endurance. Meanwhile, a heavy-duty crawler crane slowly maneuvers into position on the sandy shore to support the massive steel sections. The giant crane hook is carefully lowered down to the top deck, ready to catch the massive chunks of steel. A skilled worker ignites the high-powered cutting torch, producing a blinding blue flame that will slice right through steel. The intense heat instantly melts the thick hull, sending a spectacular shower of bright orange sparks cascading through the air. From a distance, our brave workers look incredibly tiny as they battle against the colossal metallic face of the ship. The strict demolition protocol requires our team to carefully cut from the inside out, maintaining structural stability at all times. A long glowing red line slowly stretches across the dark gray steel as the powerful torch slices through the hull. The intense heat from the cutting equipment causes heavy sweat to drip down the focused faces of our brave workers. Following a highly precise grid pattern, the crew systematically cuts the thick steel plates, working from the bottom section upwards. Thousands of glowing molten metal sparks fall gracefully through the open air, creating a beautiful yet highly dangerous metallic rainstorm. Thick steel chains from the heavy crane remain perfectly taut, securely holding the massive hull section as it gets detached. The heavy steel plate finally begins to pull away from the main structure, exposing the dark, empty spaces hidden inside. Our expert crane operator slowly and smoothly lifts the glowing, freshly cut steel plate away from the ship main body. The massive steel chunk is gently lowered onto the sandy beach below, kicking up a small cloud of dry dust. Without wasting any time, the workers operate the heavy winches to raise their suspended scaffolding higher up the steep bow. A quick look inside the exposed bow reveals an incredibly dense and complex maze of reinforced steel beams and pillars. The team suddenly encounters a significantly thicker section of steel near the core, forcing them to adjust their torch settings. A wider view from above clearly shows the missing sections of the bow, revealing the incredible progress of our dismantling. Strong ocean winds begin to blow against the massive ship, causing the suspended scaffolding to sway slightly in the air. The dedicated safety supervisor on the ground speaks firmly into his radio, ensuring every single worker remains completely safe today. Multiple workers resume cutting simultaneously across different levels, creating a truly spectacular display of bright sparks against the dark metal. A huge vertical crack suddenly forms in the steel hull, glowing red hot as the intense structural tension finally releases. Massive rusted bolts and broken metal fragments snap under the extreme pressure, tumbling down the steep side of the hull. The heavy crane tracks dig deeply into the soft sand, its powerful engine roaring to support the massive bow section. The iconic inverted V-shaped bow finally detaches from the main ship structure, hanging suspended heavily in the open air. There is a brief moment of complete stillness as the massive detached steel bow hangs silently against the blue sky. The highly experienced crane operator carefully begins to lower the colossal steel bow section towards the designated drop zone below. The massive steel bow finally slams into the sandy beach, sending a powerful shockwave and a huge cloud of sand. The heavy impact creates a deep, thunderous sound that echoes across the entire shipyard, shaking the ground beneath our feet. As the thick cloud of dust slowly clears away, the massive V-shaped bow lies completely defeated on the ground. The hardworking crew raises their hands in victory, taking a brief moment to celebrate the successful detachment of the bow. The sharp metallic edges of the fallen bow now rest harmlessly against the soft grains of sand on the beach. Looking back at the main ship, we can clearly see the massive exposed cross-section where the bow once stood. The project manager carefully analyzes the digital blueprints, preparing the crew for the next highly critical phase of the demolition. We now shift our focus deep inside the exposed hull, targeting the massive cylindrical liquefied natural gas fuel storage tanks. A bright warning sign reminds everyone that handling these highly flammable gas tanks requires extreme caution and absolute strict protocols. A specialized hazard team wearing fully protective suits enters the dark compartment, carrying highly advanced gas detection and monitoring equipment. The sensitive digital gas detector scans the surrounding air, ensuring there are no dangerous leaks before any cutting work begins. The crew carefully connects heavy-duty industrial vacuum hoses directly to the main control valves of the massive fuel tanks. A massive industrial vacuum pump machine suddenly roars to life, working tirelessly to pull all remaining hazardous gases safely out. We watch closely as the pressure gauge needle slowly ticks down, finally reaching absolute zero to indicate a safe vacuum. The hazard team leader gives a confident thumbs up, confirming the entire area is completely cleared of any explosive gases. The manual cutting team slowly returns to the tank room, deeply respecting the strict safety rules before igniting their torches. A highly trained worker carefully ignites his torch, slowly slicing through the protective outer thermal layer of the fuel tank. The outer steel shell peels back to reveal thick layers of white industrial insulation foam tightly wrapping the inner core. The workers use specialized blades to manually cut and remove massive blocks of white insulation foam from the tank surface. The bare and incredibly shiny stainless steel core of the fuel tank is finally exposed perfectly under the bright lights. Two strong workers carefully carry a massive heavy-duty industrial plasma cutter into the tightly confined space of the room. The powerful plasma cutter shoots a blinding blue beam, effortlessly slicing through the extremely thick stainless steel of the tank. Thick gray smoke rapidly fills the confined space, swirling around the bright work lights as the intense cutting process continues. Massive yellow industrial ventilation fans spin rapidly, quickly blowing the thick smoke out of the compartment to maintain clear visibility. A large curved section of the stainless steel tank finally breaks free, securely supported by heavy chains from the ceiling. A small internal winch slowly drags the heavy curved steel section out through the massive hole in the ship's side. Outside the ship, a giant excavator equipped with massive hydraulic metal shears firmly grabs the curved steel plate emerging now. The powerful hydraulic shears effortlessly crush and slice the thick stainless steel plate into much smaller and easily manageable pieces. Small jagged pieces of shiny steel rain down heavily into a massive growing pile of valuable scrap metal waiting below. Back inside the ship, our workers stand at the very bottom of the tank, cutting through the thickest foundation supports. The temporary work lights suddenly flicker and go out, plunging the massive tank interior into complete pitch-black darkness momentarily. A single cutting torch quickly ignites in the dark, casting dramatic and dancing shadows against the curved steel tank walls. The bright work lights suddenly snap back on, illuminating our dedicated workers who never stop their intense and difficult cutting. The massive steel foundation of the tank finally snaps with a loud crack, shifting slightly downwards under its own weight. The giant crawler crane is repositioned outside, dropping its thick steel cables deep into the ship to extract the foundation. The massive and heavily reinforced steel base of the fuel tank is slowly dragged out of the hull, groaning loudly. A wide shot inside the ship reveals a massive and cavernous empty space where the giant fuel tanks once stood. Workers equipped with brooms and shovels carefully sweep up the remaining small metal shards and insulation debris from the floor. The dedicated safety supervisor walks through the empty compartment, shining a bright flashlight into dark corners to ensure total security. The demolition process moves upwards as excavators with hydraulic hammers begin smashing the thick decking above the empty tank room. Large, heavy chunks of the upper deck collapse downwards into the empty void, creating loud crashes and clouds of dust. Workers use high-pressure water hoses to spray down the collapsing debris, significantly reducing the thick dust clouds around us. An excavator with a massive bucket quickly scoops up piles of mixed steel and concrete debris, clearing the opened space. A cinematic view from above shows the massive ship now missing its entire front bow and a large central section. The sun slowly begins to set, casting a warm golden light over the busy demolition yard and the jagged metal. Our tired workers, covered in dark soot and sweat, finally take off their hard hats, smiling after a successful day. The detached bow and massive tank pieces rest quietly on the sand, beautifully silhouetted against the vibrant orange evening sky. A heavy cutting torch rests safely on a steel beam, its metal tip still slightly glowing red as it cools. The team leader sits quietly in the mobile office, carefully reviewing the incredible daily progress on his detailed clipboard notes. A lone excavator continues working in the fading twilight, its bright headlights illuminating the scrap pile to organize the yard. Massive stadium-style work lights suddenly turn on across the yard, perfectly illuminating the half-destroyed ship against the night. The massive ship looks exactly like a sleeping mechanical giant, with deep, glowing cuts visible all along its metallic body. The calm ocean water beautifully reflects the bright work lights and the jagged silhouette of the partially dismantled cruise ship. Dismantling this unique inverted V-shaped bow was undeniably one of the most challenging and dangerous engineering tasks we faced. Handling the highly explosive fuel tanks required absolute perfection, strict vacuuming procedures, and an unwavering commitment to our safety protocols. It is the relentless grit, pure determination, and professional pride of our amazing crew that makes these impossible tasks possible. This massive project proved that the perfect combination of skilled manual labor and heavy machinery can conquer any engineering challenge. Every single piece of this massive steel structure will be carefully sorted, transported, and fully recycled for future construction projects. Next time, we will venture deep into the mechanical heart of the ship to dismantle the incredibly massive engine room. Thank you for joining us on this incredible journey as we continue to break down the biggest machines on Earth. This has been another epic episode from Demolition Worker. Stay safe, keep building, and we will see you next time.